Another year, another E3, am I right? Actually, not quite, because this year we didn't have E3, and personally, I was real sad about that. E3 is like Christmas, if Christmas was only for gamers. But luckily for you, me, and gamers everywhere, Uncle Jeff showed up and saved the day. Not only did he bring his own showcase, but rallied the industry to his cause, and now here we are, sitting on a metric ton of gaming news to digest. But we're the co-op bros, so we don't care about everything announced, only the co-op games, and boy were there a lot to talk about. Gabe and I have recorded 28 news stories that have something to do with co-op coming out of this year's non-E3. So let us try our best to whittle that down to our 10 most hyped co-op games shown, either newly announced, updated with gameplay, or even releasing out of years of early access. One of several totally new games announced was Windmender, debuting during the Future Games Showcase. It's a 4-player online co-op game where you are tasked with mending and restoring the environment. Hashtag relatable, am I right? It looks like it has some survival aspects, including crafting of weapons, plus some base building too, but I'm most pumped to just fly around with my boys like a bunch of environmentally conscious super people. The only worry is the whole world is procedurally generated, so we'll have to keep our fingers crossed the computers do a good job on that one. Windmender is coming to PlayStation, Xbox, and PC in 2023. From Space got a new gameplay trailer during the Guerrilla Collective stream. It's a twin-stick shooter set in a post-apocalyptic world invaded by, you probably guessed it, aliens. Now these twin-stick apocalyptic shooters are kind of a dime a dozen. What's drawing us to this one is the cute cartoony art style that you wouldn't quite expect given the setting. Despite that, it totally works, and luckily we won't have to wait long. From Space comes to PC and Nintendo Switch this autumn. Our next game was another brand new announcement, this time coming from the PC gaming show. Demonschool is very much inspired from the likes of Persona, as it's a ragtag group of high schoolers taking on demons together in a very pleasing 2D, 3D style RPG. The gameplay is intriguing as a turn-based tactics co-op game, something you don't see too often, but we're willing to see how that works out. You also plan your school schedule a la Persona 5 to help build your character's skills and preparation for battle. It'll be interesting to see how that works in co-op, as it sounds more geared towards a single-player experience if I'm being totally honest. Demonschool comes to all platforms sometime in 2023. Continuing with more totally new announcements, Once Human got a ton of information dumped on us during IGN Summer of Gaming. Another post-apocalyptic survival game, but with a PvEvP twist. You'll be doing the usual, fighting giant monsters, exploring the open world, collecting resources, building bases, you know, survival-like stuff. It also looks like you have some powerful superhuman abilities, similar to what we've seen in games like Outriders. There are multi-segmented boss fights and raid dungeons too. As for the PvP part, there are 2 modes. One sounds like a territory domination-like match, and the other sounds like a specific zone where you have a PvEvP situation, similar to Dark Zones in The Division, where you get valuable resources. All in all, that sounds pretty ambitious, and it looks like it too. But luckily the game has plenty of time to figure that all out, as we have a closed beta test in September this year on PC, so a release date is probably a ways off, and I think that's for the best. Our last brand new announcement we want to cover is Rotwood, my favorite of all the new titles announced as far as co-op games are concerned. It's a hack and slash game from the developers of Don't Starve, and it was shown off during the PC gaming show. I'm really digging the Saturday morning cartoon look. The animations look so clean here. I mean, it is crazy what these indie developers are able to do at this point. Beat 'em ups and hack and slash games are kind of a blind spot for Gabe and I and the channel, so with this and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles releasing just yesterday, it might finally be time to remedy that. Sidebar, Shredder's Revenge reviewed really well, looks great, and has online co-op which we were not aware of. Might have to hop into that when we're free. Now unfortunately, the release date for Rotwood is a little fuzzy with a 2023, 2024, 2020 question mark number given at the end of the trailer, so we'll see how that goes. Now it's time to talk Redwall. At the top here, I want to emphasize that Redwall will inevitably be one of the most anticipated games of 2023, and we're not immune to that. Giving it the 5th spot in this video definitely reflects that. However, Gabe and I are admittedly a bit trepid on giving ourselves over to the hype machine just yet. Visually, it looks very last gen. Directionally, it seems a bit confused. This time around, there was a big emphasis from developers that this is a single-player game that can be played with friends. The narrative has certainly shifted to a story-driven campaign and away from a Left 4 Dead wannabe. Despite that, the gameplay looks like it clearly was designed for 4-player co-op. Now, I do like the tone, and the abilities look like they can be fun, but it just has a lot it's trying to do and a lot it's trying to live up to. I want the best for you, Redwall, but we'll just have to wait and see. Redwall is coming in early 2023 to all Xbox platforms. Guys, let me just tell you, ExoPrimal looks whack. I mean, it only takes 2 seconds of gameplay to realize that too. Capcom gave us both a trailer, developer walkthrough, and full match gameplay to chew on. Surprisingly, it turns out ExoPrimal is actually a PvEvP game, very similar to Gambit from Destiny, but with a lot more going on for it since it's, well, the whole game. Even more surprising is that we are weirdly hyped for this. The action looks super cooperative, with the mech rolls being really important as you go from objective to objective, which, speaking of which, the objectives change throughout a map, emphasizing your ability to adapt and communicate as a team. It's still got a lot to prove, don't get me wrong, I'm not sure that this can carry an entire game, but we're certainly hopeful. Good PvEvP games are few and far between. ExoPrimal is coming in 2023 to PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. Another game we find ourselves surprisingly hyped for, which really is the theme of these last 4 games, is Grounded. Finally releasing with its 1.0 update after 2 years, Grounded is looking like it's ready to wow. It'll include everything they've been working on during early access, obviously, but most importantly, there's a campaign on top of its survival gameplay that's brand new. You'll still have the genre tropes like base building, weapon and armor crafting, giant monsters, or in this case, insects to fend with. You don't see a whole lot of survival games that aren't horror focused, so that's a nice refreshing take here. Although plenty of arachnophobics would probably disagree with me, and I get that and I sympathize with you. But Grounded somehow has positioned itself as a game we really want to review this year. Speaking of release dates, it comes to all Xbox consoles and PC on September 22nd. I don't care what anybody says, Diablo IV looked really good during that Xbox showcase. They started by introducing the final character class, Necromancer. She looks nice, but they went on to detail character customization, which is looking as deep as you would want it to be in a co-op game. They talked about open world exploration, showing how you change the world as you play, and you'll have surprise events that require friends' help, like this giant golden troll boss, cool vibes from him. And of course, our favorite point that they mentioned was the co-op. They have shared worlds, crossplay, couch co-op, even a PvP bounty system that Gabe will totally take advantage of. The big takeaway for me is that it all looked really polished, and that's important for a game like this. We've never played a Diablo game before, but 4 feels like an awesome time to jump in. Diablo 4 is close to release, slated for 2023 on Xbox consoles and PC. Drum roll, please. Our most hyped game of 2022's non-E3 showcases is Nightingale, which is probably not what you expected, but it has a lot going on under the hood that both Gabe and I love, so give me a minute to explain myself. First off, like many games on this list, it's a co-op survival title. Clearly we like this. So add in your usual survival gameplay mechanics. Except, this is a magical survival game. So, there's a really interesting system in these craftable realm cards, which allow you to reactivate these dormant portals around the world to visit other worlds with potentially rarer loot. The way that you craft the card will determine what world you end up with. And this game has a really awesome art style, so I want to see some worlds. I think that's all pretty cool. Now, if you're not sold yet, get ready to hold onto your pants, because Nightingale has 10-player co-op. That's a mic drop, folks. Oh wait, you're still not sold? Well, honestly, that's actually all I got. There wasn't that much shown off. But still, we are hyped for it, and if you're not, don't make us feel bad for making it number 1. Nightingale drops on PC in early access sometime this year, so it'll be a while until we get to see it, but still, we are hype. And there you have it, folks. That's 10 different co-op games shown off at non-E3 that have us hyped. But there was plenty more to talk about, trust me, so stick around by subscribing so you catch our monthly news show at the end of June, the Co-op Monthly, where we're going to cover all of the news stories. There was at least 28, I think, that came out, like I mentioned earlier, which, yes, means 18 more co-op games that we need to talk about. I feel bad for the guy who has to edit that video, right? That guy's me, actually. I'm that guy. Thanks as always for watching, and we'll catch you guys next time on another episode of the Co-op Bros.